Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth and I run the blog lifefromtheviolasection.com where I share my favorite practice tips, general advice, and tech for musicians. So last week I bought the new iPhone 13 Pro, 128 gigabytes in the Sierra blue color. I love it so much and I'm so happy with it, but today I'm going to share if I think this is a good investment for musicians by looking at the camera, the microphone, and a few other different features and different functions that you can use to really bump up your productivity as a musician. So the first thing I wanted to take a look at on this phone was the camera, because we've got 3 of them and I was so excited to play with them, and I still am very excited. So I took a video of myself practicing on both the iPhone 13 Pro, my Panasonic GH5, which you are seeing right now, and my old phone, a OnePlus 6 that I bought in 2019, but it was made in 2018. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the unedited footage, and I'm going to share the microphone audio that went with each one. So here we go. So I think the OnePlus video actually had the most true to life color. It was really surprising that the camera footage seemed so yellow, and then the iPhone footage was also pretty true to life, but it wasn't as sharp, I think. Like, blacks weren't true blacks, maybe? I don't know, but here I'm going to just do kind of an autofix in my video editor so that you can see what a video editor might do to the raw footage. And then finally, I took a cinematic video of myself practicing, and I'm really happy with the result. I probably wouldn't use it for like an audition or anything. I would use this camera for an audition, but I was pleasantly surprised with it. The only thing that didn't really focus, or the only thing that should have been out of focus that was in focus, was a little bit of the wall behind my arm. So here's a bit of that. Okay, now on to the microphone. I think the mic in this was pretty good. I still got a really great range of dynamics, but it wasn't my true tone. It just sounded kind of like a viola. Like, it didn't sound like my viola, whereas when I use the fancy Shure SM57s with a Focusrite interface, I do feel like it sounds like me playing my viola, whereas when I record with a phone camera like this or with a OnePlus, I feel like I just don't get all of the tone colors that I hear with a fancier mic. So I'm going to show you the comparison of the Shure microphone, the Rode VideoMicro that I keep on this camera, which you are hearing right now, the iPhone Pro microphone, and the OnePlus microphone. So here are all of those. Okay, now that we've got the camera and mic out of the way, let's talk about some cool functions on this phone and iOS 15. So if you do have an older iPhone, you can still make use of some of these features. So the first really cool feature that I want to share are focus modes. So you can set up a few different focus modes, from do not disturb to sleeping to driving to work. Anything that you want, you can really customize these. So I made one for myself called practicing. And when I tap on it, it takes me just to the page of my iPhone where I have all of my music apps. So I cannot leave this page. I only have access to this. And I also turned off all notifications except for urgent ones like from family and a few other apps that I want notifications from. So with a focus mode, you can actually share with others that you are in the focus mode. So if they try to iMessage you, they'll see Elizabeth is in focus mode, or whatever your name is in focus mode. So that can be really helpful if someone is trying to get in touch with you and they don't know why they can't. They can see exactly why. So this has been a really nice way to just get myself into the mindset. I just press a button and then I have access to all of my music apps and nothing else should distract me. And you can leave this on for an hour until this evening or until you leave this location. So this is how I created it. I went to new focus, chose custom, chose a color. I went with orange just because it matches the practice journal app that I use. And then I chose the little headphone icon. Okay, I can't use the headphone icon again since I'm already using it, so I'll just use a heart to show you guys today. And then name it. I'll call this one practice, and I'll also change the color to purple just so I can be aware. So you can allow different people to message you, as many or none as you want. You can allow calls from no one, favorites, or all contacts, and I just have favorites because I have my family members favorited. And then you can allow notifications for different apps. So I don't want Snapchat or Poshmark or Instagram. Gmail, yeah. Time-sensitive ones like the reminders app. I have a few timed reminders in there. I still want to get those. Let's see. This is the app that I use for invoicing my students, so I'd want to know if one of my students pays me. So we'll let those go, and it's ready. And now it's ready for you to customize it even further. So I went to home screen. You can hide notification badges, which can be really helpful if you get easily distracted by the little number of notifications at the corner of an app. And you can choose custom pages. So this is how I chose to only have one home screen. I just checkmarked the page with all of my music apps on it. Done. Go back. You can also change the lock screen. You can dim the lock screen, or you can show notifications that did not ring on the lock screen. I have both of those turned off just because I don't really need them. You can also edit the name and the little appearance, and you can also schedule this. So if you arrive at a location, like if you go to campus to practice, you can have it set to when you arrive to campus. Or if there's a time that you practice every day, like at 3:30, you can have this turn on every day at 3:30. So you can really customize it and really make it powerful, which is really fun, and I think it's very helpful for a lot of us. I also chose the focus mode to pop up when I open Andante Practice Journal. So when I open up the app, I'm going to open it from the widget. My phone automatically goes into practicing mode. The catch with this one is that as soon as I leave the app, it turns off and it goes right back to normal. So I do usually manually turn on the practice mode, but that is an option if there's one app that you stay in your entire practice session. You can also have it automatically launch the focus mode when you launch the app, which is very, very helpful, and I love it. So aside from the functions and the camera and microphone, these are the main apps that I use on my phone while I practice. So I use Andante Practice Journal to log my practice sessions. I have 2 whole videos on this app. I really, really love it, and I highly recommend the paid version. I have GarageBand on this page just in case I ever need it. I downloaded Soundbrenner, the metronome app, but I don't really use it. See, I've never opened it yet until right now. But that's an app I want to play around with. I have voice memos so that I can quickly record myself. I can also record myself in Andante Practice Journal, but it depends on where I want to have it. If I just want to have it within the Practice Journal app and kind of logged within a practice session, then I'll do it over there. But if I want a standalone recording, maybe if I want to send it to someone or share it somewhere, then I do it in the Voice Memos app. Also have Tuner Lite. This used to be my go-to tuner until I found Tonal Energy, which has a lot more features. This is a paid app, but I think it's definitely worth it. It also has a metronome within it. I don't really use the metronome that much. I do tend to go for Pro Metronome because I really like the interface of this one. My final app on the screen is Impulse. It's a new metronome that I just downloaded a few days ago, and I'm excited to look into it because it looks like it could be pretty powerful. So is the iPhone 13 Pro worth it for musicians? It definitely depends on where you're coming from, what kind of upgrade it is for you. If you have an 11 or 12, it might not be a giant upgrade. For me, I had an Android phone from 2018, and this is a huge jump for me, and I absolutely love it, and I don't regret it at all. So it really depends on what you're coming from and what you're looking for. Of course, if you do have a nice standalone camera like what I have, the camera in this isn't really necessary unless you need something super portable or you need like a second view. Because it is really nice when you're recording like a recital or anything like that. It's really nice to have a second camera up so that you can change up the angles. But it's not necessary if you have a nice camera like what I have. It's also probably the best mic I've ever heard in a smartphone. I actually wasn't too upset with it because I got a nice dynamic range, which is usually where the phones just kind of flatline and everything sounds mezzo forte. I actually heard a difference between forte and piano, and I thought it was doable. It didn't sound like the high quality that I get on my nice mics, but for a smartphone, it was really great. So my best advice would be to take a look at the video and the audio that I shared earlier, just see what you think of it, if it lives up to your expectations. And it also depends on what kind of upgrade you're coming from, if you think it's worth the price tag from where you're at, and if it will be a big leap from where you already are. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know down below what phone you use or if you are thinking about upgrading or not. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I post new videos every Sunday at noon, and I also have a Ko-fi profile where you can support my free content if you'd like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.